Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome to Leisure Gaming. I'm Leisure, and today we're going to go over a rogue control deck called Mimighoul. Mimighoul has this control strategy where it focuses around special summoning level 1 flip monsters on your opponent's side of the field, which have negative effects when they're flipped, and then also when they're flipped they have a secondary effect where you can get those monsters back to your side of the field. This is combined with their field spell, the Mimighoul Dungeon, which prevents their opponents from normal summoning and also delays their special summon monsters from attacking if there is a controlled face down monster on their side of the field. So if you do enjoy stun and hand trap strategies, I do think this is a good deck for you, and also is a good deck for players coming into MasterDuel for the first time because it is not as expensive as some of the other decks. So let's get right into it. To start with the deck profile, we have 2 DD Crow, where you can discard this card to the graveyard, then target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard and banish that target. Make sure you don't do this against Malice. Learn that the hard way. Next are 3 Mimighoul Dragons, and please keep in mind that all of these Mimighouls can be special summoned to your opponent's side of the field face down. When Mimighoul Dragon is flipped face up on your opponent's side of the field, destroy all monsters you control except Mimighoul monsters, meaning their monsters, and then you'll get this card back because they have to give control of this card back to your opponent. Now if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Mimighoul spell or trap from the deck to your hand, and normally you want to go after the field spell. Next are 3 Mimighoul Archfiends. This is another mandatory 3. After special summon to your opponent's side of the field and flip face up, your opponent gets to draw 1 card, and then you have to send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you give control of this card back to your opponent. If this card is normal or special summon, you can change 1 face down monster on the field to face up attack or defense position, and this is what also combos well with your dragon, so that way when it's your opponent's turn you can activate Archfiend, flip dragon, and destroy all your opponent's monsters and then get your card back. Next are 2 Fairy, and when this card is flipped face up on your opponent's side, they cannot activate the effects of monsters special summon from the hand, and then if you have a Mimighoul monster that's face up, you can special summon this card face up on your side of the field. Next are 2 Slime, and your opponent can special summon 1 Mimighoul monster from their deck to their field, and then obviously you'll get the card back. During the main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field and face down defense position, or if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card face up on your side of the field. Obviously we have our Maxi and our Ash Blossom for our hand traps. Next is 1 Mimighoul Master, and this is going to be the boss monster beat stick for this deck. This card is one of 3 Mimighouls that do not get special summoned to your opponent's side of the field. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while your opponent controls any face down monster or you control a Mimighoul monster other than Master. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Mimighoul monster from your deck to your hand except Mimighoul Master. And during your opponent's main phase, you can change 1 face down monster on the field to face up attack or defense position. Of course we have Fualos as another hand trap to allow us to draw more cards when your opponent special summon monsters from the extra deck and from their deck. And then during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, you can randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck so the number of your hand equals the number your opponent cards control plus 6. Next are 2 Nibiru, and this is another hand trap that is on the rise because you will get to wipe your opponent's field, so that way you can special summon Nibiru, and obviously they get a token, and that token is going to have the attack and defense equal to all the monsters that have been wiped. Going on to the spell, we have the 1 for 1. This is going to come in very handy. I think this is definitely necessary since all of your other Mimighouls are 1-star monsters, so that way you can search and have them special summoned. Next are 2 triple tactics talents, and you can definitely get this up to 3 if you can make the room for it, or you can swap this out for Thrust, and this is a really good card since the flip effects are going to be activated on your opponent's side of the field, so that will allow you to either draw 2 cards, take control of 1 monster your opponent controls until the end phase, or look at your opponent's hand and then choose 1 card and shuffle it back into their deck. Next are 3 Mimighoul Makers, and this is another one that's going to be mandatory 3. This is going to be your 1 card starter for the deck, and you're going to target Archfiend and Dragon. Now, unfortunately, it says your opponent randomly picks, but I believe the game picks for everyone, so you don't know which one is going to go to your opponent's side and which one you're going to get, but it doesn't stop your combo. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 face down monster your opponent controls and change it face up into attack or defense position. position. Next are 3 Mimighoul Dungeons, and this is a mandatory 3 for the field spell needed for Mimighouls, and you're going to be able to search this off of Dragon's Effect. This is going to be your primary target if you don't have it in your hand. Mimighoul monsters you control that were not normal or special summoned this turn gain attack equal to their original defense. Any player who controls a face down monster cannot normal summon monsters nor declare an attack with monsters that were special summoned this turn. This is why this card is very important and it should be placed at 3. During your main phase, you can add 1 Mimighoul monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, so it has a good recycle effect as well. Next, we have 1 Mimighoul Charm, which I don't see a lot of people using for Mimighoul, and I think this is a really cool card to have. You don't need more than 1. Once per chain, during the main phase, if a Mimighoul monster your opponent controls is flipped face up, you can randomly choose 1 face down card in your opponent's extra deck, and if it is a monster that can be special summoned, you can special summon it to your side of the field, but it cannot activate effects this turn. If it wasn't or couldn't be special summoned, you then banish that card. Of course, we have the Call by Grave to stop things like Maxi, Ash Blossom, and Wallows. Going into the traps, we have 3 infinite permanents so that we can negate our opponent's monsters. We have 1 Mimighoul Room, where you can special summon 1 Mimighoul monster from your hand or deck to the field or in face down defense position to your opponent's field. Then you can change 1 face up monster on the field to face down defense position. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target any number of Mimighoul cards you control and return them to the hand. Normally with this card, you want to send Dragon to your opponent's side of the field so that way you can flip Dragon up and destroy your opponent's monsters off that field. And last, we have 2 Solemn Judgments, once again to try and help with the negating and control, where you can stop the summoning or the activation of a spell or a trap just by paying half of your life points. Going into the extra deck, we have 1 number 13 Embodiment of Crime, and you can either run this one or you can run Embodiment of Punishment, or you can actually run both of them together. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can attach 1 XZ material from this card, change all monsters your opponent controls to face up attack position. Also, all monsters your opponent controls must attack this card if able to. Now, if you control number 31 Embodiment of Punishment, this card will gain the effects where this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by effects while it has an XZ material, and your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from attacks on this card. We have 1 Lyralist Assembled Nightingale. This card can attack directly, which is the main effect for this one. While this card has material on it, it can attack the number of times each battle phase up to the number of materials attached, and obviously this is going to get you into your Zeus. 1 Fuko or Fucho, depending on how you pronounce it. It is unaffected by other card effects, and then once per turn you can detach 2 materials from this card for the rest of the turn. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage from attacks involved in this card. Next are 2 Giant Mimighouls, and this is another Mimighoul that doesn't go to your opponent's side of the field. Your non-XZ Mimighoul monsters can attack directly while your opponent controls a face down monster. You can only use the effect once per turn. If this card is XZ summoned, you can add 1 Mimighoul card from your deck to your hand, which is going to be Mimighoul Master. You detach 1 material from this card, then target face-up cards on the field up to the number of face-down monsters your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. Next are 2 Mimighoul Thrones, and if you want to pump this up to 3, you can, if you can find the room for it. You can detach 1 material from this card and special summon 1 Mimighoul Master from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During the main phase, you can target 1 Mimighoul Master you control, equip this card to it as an equipped spell that gives it 1,000 attack. Then you can return cards from the field to the hand up to the number of materials this card had. Next is 1 Downer Magician. During your main phase 2, you can also XZ summon this card by using a rank 3 or lower monster you control as material, and this is just another step to get into Zeus to make sure Zeus has material for his effect, which we all know Zeus will detach 2 materials from this card and send all other cards from the field to the graveyard. We also have 1 Super Star Slayer Typhon. During the turn or turn after your opponent special summon 2 or more monsters from the extra deck, you can also XZ summon this card by using 1 monster you control with the highest attack. If you do, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, and then while this XZ summon monster is on the field, neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 or more attack. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, return 1 monster from the field to the hand. Since we have a lot of 1-stars, we have Relinquish Anima, and you can use any other 1-star. I like Relinquish Anima because then I get to target 1 face-up monster this card points to and snatch that card. Next, we have 1 Dark to Dark Charmer, and yes, a lot of the Mimighouls are Earth, but we do have DD Crow to help get into this. You're primarily using this as a link climber, so you can target 1 dark monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to a zone this card points to. Now, if this card is destroyed, you can then add 1 dark monster with 1,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, which is once again that DD Crow. We have 1 SP Little Knight. If this card is link summoned using a Fusion, Synchro, XZ, or Link monster as material, you can target 1 card on the field or in either graveyard and banish it. Also, your monsters cannot attack directly this turn. Now, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters, including a monster you control, and then banish both until the end phase. Next, we have 1 Beauregard Dragon, and only 3 or more effect monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. And once per turn, you can send 1 card from your spell or trap zone to the graveyard, special summon from either graveyard to your field 1 monster that was destroyed and sent there this turn but negate its effects. Now, once per turn, you can target 1 monster on the field, change it to face-up defense position. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. And next we have 1 Access Code Talker, and if this card is Link Summon, you can target 1 Link monster that was used as a Link material, and this card gains the attack equal to the monster's Link rating times 1000, and you can also banish 1 Link monster from your field or graveyard to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Since Mimighoul has the effects to cause monsters to go face up on your opponent's side of the field, activating flip effects, there are other cards that people like to kind of tech in, which is pretty funny that I've seen so far. One of them being Cyberjar, where you can destroy all monsters on the field, then both players reveal top 5, and then you can special summon all revealed level 4 or lower monsters. Morphin Jar is another card. If you can get it to your opponent's side of the field and then flip it face up, both players discard as many cards as possible from their hand, then each player draws 5 cards. Now keep in mind that you have to kind of add other things into the deck to kind of keep those flip effects going. Morphing Jar number 2 does something similar if you don't want to spend the points for Morphing Jar, where you can shuffle all monsters on the field into the deck, and then you have to excavate the same number of monsters they shuffled into the main deck and special summon all excavated level 4 or lower monsters face down. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard, so that's another way to try and mill out your opponent. Fire Sorcerer is also another one that you can definitely use. Granted, it is a 4-star, but once again, it has that flip effect where you can banish 2 random cards from your hand and inflict 800 damage to your opponent. So I've seen some Mimighoul decks where they've been able to work these cards in as their main way of defeating their opponent, and it is actually pretty funny to do. So that's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead, leave a like and subscribe. We are trying to hit 500 by the end of the year. And if you have some interesting tech that you're using for Mimighoul, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I would love to see it and try it out for myself. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Later.